by music.
Get up off your seat. Are you ready to dance?
What if I told you, for most of human history, nobody felt embarrassed by the human body? No blushing, no scandal, no shame. In fact, in many cultures, nudity symbolized strength, purity, even honor. So why does it make us uncomfortable today? Was it religion, power, control, or were we simply taught to fear something that was once completely normal? By the end of this video, you may start questioning whether shame was ever natural or carefully constructed. Climate is the fundamental force that shapes all life on Earth. In hot, humid regions, wearing few clothes was a brilliant adaptation. It allowed the body to cool itself through sweat, a practical solution for comfort and survival. Conversely, in the frigid landscapes of the North, the story was different. Here, clothes were a necessity. People learned to hunt animals not only for meat, but for their thick furs and hides. The need to stay warm forged a link between clothing and safety, shaping how people viewed the body. Vulnerable to the cold, the human form was protected, kept hidden simply to stay alive. This climatic divergence created two very different cultural starting points. In warmer lands, the body was a visible part of daily life. With no inherent need to cover it, there was no foundational reason for shame to develop. Our environment writes the first and most powerful rules for our societies. The sun and the ice were the first teachers of modesty, or the lack thereof. This foundation explains why, for our ancestors, the idea of being ashamed of one's own skin would have been a strange concept. It was a problem their world had not yet invented. In sun-drenched savannas and humid archipelagos, clothing was a practical choice, not a moral one. People adorned their bodies or left them bare based on their environment and daily activities. The body was a vessel for life, a tool for work, and an expression of existence, not for guilt or concealment. The concept of shame is not universal, but a cultural artifact, an idea constructed and spread over time. It grew slowly in some places and was imposed rapidly in others. Powerful forces shaped our beliefs: the unforgiving cold, organized religion, expanding empires, and the anonymous city, building the walls of privacy that now feel so immovable. The discomfort many feel with their bodies isn't biological. It's an inheritance, a story passed down through generations. By unwrapping that story, we can see our feelings in a new light, separating the natural from the constructed. This is a quiet look at why some cultures never feared nudity, and how we might find a gentler way to inhabit our own skin. Your discomfort may not be your own. It may be inherited. As societies grew complex, so did their belief systems, with religion emerging to formalize social rules, including those for the body. Modesty was introduced as a spiritual virtue. Covering the body became a sign of respect and humility, a way to honor the sacred by not displaying the physical form. This was a significant shift, linking clothing directly to one's spiritual and moral standing. For some faiths, the body was a source of temptation, creating a duality between the pure spirit and the flawed, physical flesh. To control the body was to demonstrate control over one's baser instincts. Clothing transformed into a symbol of inner faith, spreading a new spiritual anxiety about the body. However, this was not the only spiritual path forward. Many other faiths, however, did not forge this link between the body and sin. Instead, the body was seen as a sacred manifestation of life, a vessel for divine energy. Rituals could involve nudity, symbolizing purity, rebirth, and a return to a natural state. For these cultures, faith did not make the body shameful. On the contrary, it could make it holy. The age of exploration marked a dramatic turning point. When European colonizers sailed to new lands, they brought weapons, diseases, and their cultural beliefs about modesty and shame. Encountering cultures where nudity was normal, they judged it harshly through their own lens. This encounter was rarely a gentle exchange. Believing in their superiority, colonizers saw local customs as primitive and sinful. The uncovered body became proof of this inferiority, a justification for control. The mission to clothe locals was tied to a broader mission, to civilize, convert, and rule. Imposing new rules was a deliberate act of power. Missionaries and colonial administrators enforced modesty through schools and laws that criminalized public nudity. Traditional garments were replaced by Western shirts and dresses. This wasn't just fashion, it was a forced restructuring of their relationship with their bodies and environment. For many indigenous cultures, the shame taught to them was imported, forced upon them by outside powers. This inherited discomfort became embedded through generations. The shadow of the colonizer reshaped cultural landscapes, introducing bodily shame where it had not existed, creating a great fork in the road of human culture. Alongside colonization, two forces reshaped our relationship with the body: the formalization of law and the growth of cities. As communities grew, unwritten social norms became written legal codes. These laws on public decency defined acceptable attire, reflecting the morals of the dominant ruling class, often the colonizing power or a westernized elite. By setting fines and threatening punishments, the state made clothing a matter of civic duty. People learned to cover their bodies to avoid the consequences of breaking the law. Over time, a legal requirement transforms into a deeply ingrained social norm. Generations grow up under these rules, and the original reason for their existence is forgotten. Simultaneously, the rise of the industrial city created a new kind of human environment. As people moved from villages to sprawling urban centers, they entered a sea of strangers. This new anonymity, the constant gaze of unknown eyes, changed everything. Clothing became a crucial tool to signal status and respectability, and the body became an intensely private matter, a final frontier of personal space in an overwhelmingly public world. This urban mindset was exported globally, presented as the modern way to live. The relaxed communal attitudes of the village seemed incompatible with a new reality of laws, cities, and strangers. What changed us might have been less about the body and more about the world we built around it. The powerful historical forces of climate, faith, and colonization have left deep echoes in our minds. Feelings of shame around nudity are often not a conscious decision, but a psychological inheritance, a deeply ingrained emotional response passed down through our culture. As profoundly social creatures, we have an innate desire to belong. 11 words. From a young age, we learn our group's unwritten rules by observing others. 13 words. If our group teaches us the body is shameful, we internalize that message, learning to hide ourselves to gain approval. 21 words. This learned shame can be triggered by many things. It might be a memory from childhood, a scolding remark, or teasing at school. For others, it's absorbed from religious teachings or media, which create unrealistic standards for how a body should look, reinforcing the idea that the ordinary body is not enough. But since these feelings are learned, there is hope. Living counter-narratives, from Finnish saunas to Japanese onsen, prove our response to the body is malleable. These are stories we tell ourselves, and those stories can be rewritten. The history of shame reveals it's not a law of nature, but a social invention. Born from the needs of cold climates and shaped by faith, it was spread as a powerful tool of control, then solidified by laws and the anonymity of city life. Understanding this history can be profoundly freeing. We have the power to rewrite inherited stories of shame. But this doesn't mean discarding all rules. Many norms are vital for protecting the vulnerable and ensuring a safe society. The goal isn't erasing all boundaries, but distinguishing rules that protect us from those that cause harm. We can ask, which habits come from a place of care and which from fear? This helps build a healthier relationship with our humanity. It grows, feels, heals, and ages. It's the vessel of our existence, which cultures have called sacred, sinful, or home. There is no single truth. By listening to these stories, we can expand our understanding, choose beliefs to live by, and teach acceptance over anxiety. We inherited a complex story, Our ancestors' story of ice, faith, and empire lives inside us. We can accept it or write a new, gentler chapter. Knowing shame was invented, what story will you live now?
So, is reality an illusion? So, we are diving deep into the naturalist, nudist, psychology, science, and experience series. I am putting together a compilation of different nudists and naturalists who speak science, health, and practical reasons of becoming a nudist. There's going to be discussions about body positivity. I want to get into Jungian psychology. We'll even be getting into Pavlov and the salivating dog and how we are socially conditioned to believe that lust is not overcomable. The power of immersing our naked bodies under the sun, the wind, and grounding. Grounding is just deeper than being barefoot on the ground. It has now been scientifically proven that when the sun hits different meridians of our body, as we see when studying the Chinese medicine chart, that the water is then truly absorbed into the mitochondria of the fascia. The fascia cannot truly hydrate without direct sunlight on different meridians. So if you want your fascia to be hydrated, that part of your skin needs to be touching the sun while your feet are grounded without rubber soles. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and deep dive into the show. And I'll just be posting as many different people as I can who explain that the biggest thing stopping humanity is a psychological barrier. It is the psyche. It is all in alignment with the golden rule. Nudism and naturalism, first and foremost, is tied to the golden rule. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. So we have to be able to expand thought. If people who enjoy and respect and honor their temple can have more places to experience true freedom and true health. And as we dive deep, we will unlock our hearts and our minds through purity. So it is really an amazing beauty and freedom to witness ourselves in our perfection without fear, guilt, shame, and resentment when we are aligned through the golden rule. Now, society and culture has its own ways of doing things, but when we start to research, we see that America is one of the most prudest and self-hating, gymnophobic countries of the entire world. Gymnophobic means phobia of themselves being seen naked or others being seen naked, and or over sexualized culture here in America. And so what we really want to try to do through this deep dive is really try to see that nudism and naturalism is not sexual at all. And nudism and naturalism is designed for people that are looking to take control over their willpower, over their mind, and over their psyche, so that they can gain true freedom and true health and vitality. Unconsciously, we have been stuck in resentment. And so if we can learn from other people who have overcome the Pavlovian effect of lusting when they see other people naked, then we can truly reap the benefits of nature on our minds, bodies, and spirits. Also, nudists and naturalists I'll often feel a deep sense of joy, ecstasy, and tranquility that they get nowhere else. I hear this time and time again, so this will help us to reduce our materialism. All right, everybody, let's get started. Oh, but before we do, always make sure that you follow all of the laws. If you don't have any naturalist free places near you, then that is up to you to become a community organizer, get the word out. But there are places in the United States that you can travel to. Um, the picture here was in Oregon at a naturalist hike. It has been a very long time since I have been able to experience nature, and ever since I've felt like something has been missing from my life, I realize it is a feeling of oppression and that I feel from the society, and it saddens me deeply. Other days it frustrates me deeply, but I take my shirt off any chance I get and my shoes off, and wearing just shorts will give you a lot of the same benefits and feelings as going full nude. So do your best and enjoy the show.